I'm so glad when I used to skate as a kid, my parents didn't make me look like a dork by wearing some pointless helmet. Generation Snowflake strikes again. Imagine how nice you would have been without all of the head injuries. But the whole like, helmets look dumb, helmets make you look like a dork argument is so stupid. Because do you think that professional skateboarders care if they look stupid? People that skateboard for their job. Look at Tony Hawk's as a prime example of someone who skates professionally for his job and always wears safety gear. Because if you want to keep doing something, being injured is not going to help you keep doing it. Special thank you to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we're going to be taking a look at r/BoomersBeingFools. Ignore this little ball of fluff I've got on my lap right now, and ignore him. She has decided to go in heat as of like 2 days ago, and this is the worst heat I've ever seen, so she's being super needy and super like vocal if I'm not with her 24/7, and she's got her spay next week, so I guess this is her last like, get it out of the system before I can't do it anymore. You silly. You silly. But anyway, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? It's my 14th shift and all the illegal aliens are gone. It worked. Wow, that voice hurt my throat for some reason. I don't know why. Sure, dude, pretending to be an ICE agent, which I'm pretty sure is a crime, definitely got rid of all of the illegal aliens in 14 days. Congratulations. I'm sure everybody at Home Depot is just so proud of your service right now. A 9-year-old girl at a school track and field event was left shaking and sobbing after a man accused her of being trans and demanded her disqualification, Mum says. You know, it's actually really creepy to demand a 9-year-old to show you their genitals. Shut up, groomer! This is something that you see quite a lot, actually. It's this obsession with trans people that conservatives have, that they think justifies anything, when the reality is, it justifies nothing. But we're seeing this more and more at the moment, but they'll accuse, you know, liberals of being groomers, but then, yeah, they'll go and be like, oh, I don't think a child should be allowed to compete in track and field because I've decided she's trans. As if being a 9-year-old, it would make a difference anyway. But also, like, this legislation hurts everybody. Trans people especially, but it hurts everybody. And all it does is embolden the people that actually want to harm people. Look at the UK as an example of this, okay? Our Supreme Court in the UK recently passed rulings that basically says that trans people can get f***ed. I'm not going to go into that too much today, but on top of that, not only did our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer the Queer Harmer, saw that sign a protest the other day and thought it was hilarious. Not only did he, who supposedly supports LGBTQ and went to Pride, say that he is happy with the decision. Good to know that whether they are a conservative or whether they are a liberal, all British politicians are actually just invertebrates, because they never evolved a spine. But the Metropolitan Police also said that as a result of this, they will be allowing police to strip search people who they deem to be trans. So basically, male police officers are allowed to strip search trans women. Now, what they don't outwardly mention when just talking about this is the fact that they don't have to be justified. If they believe someone is trans, whether she is or is not, they are allowed to strip search her. It's not okay to begin with to be able to strip search a trans woman. A man should not be allowed to strip search a woman on her own. However, they can also strip search cis women on their own. Basically, what this bill has done is massively embolden already problematic police officers. Police officers that would strip search someone because they want to, now can. That harms everybody. Trans people especially, but that harms everybody. And when people talk about, you know, trans rights, a common argument is like, oh, but there's so few trans people, and oh, but it doesn't affect me. And first of all, that's a really shit argument, because rights are for everybody. Just because you're not trans doesn't mean that a trans person's rights aren't important because they're a human being. But second of all, it doesn't end with trans people. If they're taking away people's rights, and if they're putting legislation in place that affects trans people and emboldens abusive police officers against trans people, that doesn't stop at trans people, and it's not going to stop at trans people. And if we allow them to go for trans people, then they'll go, that's one down, moving on to the next demographic, and it moves on, and they keep on going. You allow it to happen to one person, you allow it to happen to everyone, because trans rights are human rights.
I paid my student loans off. Why should I be required to pay yours?
The same reason we pay taxes to cover your son's prison sentence of 20 years for being a minor for the betterment of society. This is a uniquely boomer mentality that I see a lot. Uniquely boomer / conservative, I guess. But it's this idea of like, oh, but I went through something, therefore everyone else should. And it's like, why though? Because you've suffered, you believe that everyone else should suffer the way that you have? Do you understand how shit and selfish an idea that is? You've paid off your student loans. Congratulations, that's great. You were also raised in an economy that massively supported you with wages that way surpassed the costs of living. Nowadays, students are coming out with hundreds of thousands in debt and getting minimum wage jobs. The economy doesn't support it. Most people in my generation probably will never own a house. And we're supposed to act like, oh, it's our fault. We just need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. When the reality is, we've been f***ed. You missed wishing your mother your best on her 70th birthday. Yeah, I'm not speaking with her, unfortunately. Get over it. You're so fucking selfish. Life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. Your mother and I are 70 fucking years old. Can you feel me yelling at you? Do you want me to come to your house and spank the shit out of you like a 12-year-old? Oh, I forgot to mention immature. Don't ever threaten me with violence ever again. If you come to my house, I will call the police. I will not be mistreated by either of you ever again. OP, I really hope that you broke contact after this, because this is an instant no contact deal. This is a, I'm never talking to you or your wife ever again. I don't care if you're my parents. And also, if you come to my house, I'll call the police and get a restraining order. This is the only right response to this now. I really hope you went no contact, because yeah, anybody like that. Violence towards children or adults, not acceptable. It's not acceptable to hit children. It's not acceptable to hit them when they become adults. Perhaps Harvard should lose its tax-exempt status and be taxed as a political entity if it keeps pushing political, ideological, and terrorist-inspired supporting sickness. Remember, tax-exempt status is totally contingent on acting in the public interest. Tax-exempt status is contingent on acting in the public interest is not a game the religious right should want to play. I think I've said this before on the channel, but I am all for taxing churches. In all honesty, I think that should be the norm, especially given in later years how often churches have been involving themselves in politics. You've had entire pastors, entire leaders of church groups telling people to vote for Trump and claiming that Biden is the Antichrist and shit like that, which is so incredibly backwards as is. But if you're gonna do that, you should be taxed as an organization. But also, you look at this guy, this creepy motherfucker right here with his little goblin face and satanic smile, and tell me that all of the estates, all of the wealth that he brags about having, tell me that he shouldn't be taxed because he's religious. This guy profits millions off of religious people. Anyway, following on from the Harvard, Linda McMahon wrote Harvard a letter to which they responded by noting areas that are in need of corrections, and then posted it on social media. Great job, Harvard. I'm not gonna read the whole letter out, but just no, I tried to read any of it and it's unintelligible nonsense, so I'm not even gonna try. Here we have a story, because people post stories to this subreddit as well. It's not just pictures. Someone said, a boomer threatens to spank my toddler. I was at the eye doctor today. My youngest is under 2 and we have decided to keep him home with us because we can. But this also means that he comes to appointments and runs errands with us when we have stuff to do, and and the other parent isn't available. So he was with me at the eye doctor appointment today, and it was getting to be his nap time. Appointment went well, but when I was out to order new lenses for my glasses, he proceeds to have a meltdown and ends up crying on the floor because he's tired and I'm not letting him run around and mess with stuff. Enter Boomer. He comes walking by in his walker, and I make sure my son is out of the way so he can get by, and he beds down and tells my son, "Dad's not gonna spank you, but Grandpa might," referring to himself. I tell him, no, that's not going to happen. He proceeds to tell me that my generation spare the rod and we should be beating our kids. No, spanking my overtired toddler is not going to make him feel better, and it's definitely not going to stop the crying. And you are not going to lay a hand on my child. It's memories of getting spanked from boomers like him that have set me on not spanking my children. You are doing the right thing, and I'm really proud that you're breaking that cycle of trauma and harm, because yeah, it's so honestly, hitting your child isn't going to solve anything. You're going to traumatize them. They're going to hate you. Like, congratulations on raising a child who's not going to want to spend the rest of their life with you. That's what you're creating by hitting your child. You know what isn't going to happen? Your child's not going to be less upset. They're now going to be more upset. And you know what's going to continue to happen? The more you hit someone, the more they're going to grow up to be a piece of shit that hits people. It's simple as. I wasn't spanked by my mum, and I would never even think of spanking a child. In all honesty, to me, the idea that when a child is misbehaving, you should spank them instead of treating them like a human being and talking to them and establishing why something is wrong shows a complete lack of emotional maturity in a parent. If you're willing to hit a child because that child has annoyed you, as a grown adult, how can you call yourself a mature grown adult? Because congratulations, you hit a harmless child. So this one, context before we get into it, OP said that their dad's not even Catholic. The politics and anti-Trump agenda are global. The Vatican chooses an anti-Trump mixed race pope. This can't be a coincidence. Other countries need to start respecting America again. An American pope should fall in line with the president and do what he says, not work against him to enroach the liberal agenda. They want people to live in hits and eat bugs. The Pope should put America first. Every day we are told we are terrible people. Should that be a sign we should fight back? God, there's layers to this. Let's break it down. So yes, the Vatican chose an American to be the Pope. Good job. That is a thing that happened. Other countries need to start respecting America again. Give them a reason to, maybe? And by that, I don't mean harass other countries, be violent, and put tariffs down because your president threw a tantrum. I mean, express that your country is willing to grow and advance its economy and will grow and advance other economies. Because you're not doing that. You're going, golly, y'all, we're burning all the bridges. Wait, no one wants to be our friend? People are laughing at us because our economy is falling apart and they're thriving? Oh no, they need to respect us. Also, the whole point of the Pope is that he puts the ideals and best of the religion first. The point of the Pope is that he's a Catholic leader leading the Catholic Church. He shouldn't be putting America first. In fact, there should be a distinct separation between the Pope and America because he's leading a religion that's worshipped by millions across the globe, potentially even billions. He shouldn't be listening to the president of his country and putting that country first, because that defeats the whole point of him being the leader of one of the biggest religions in the world, and that would be horrifically corrupt. Simple as. The Trump Store website has started selling 2028 hats. Soft launching a fascist dictatorship is insane. Genuinely insanity. MAGA really like putting this whole benefit of the doubt thing forwards and oh, he's just trolling and he's not really gonna do these things. But he literally is trying to. There's no way around it. You can't be he's not really gonna try and run for president a third time and destroy democracy. And then Trump sells merch saying, hey guys, I'm really gonna do it. And they go, oh, what banter. It's fucking delusional to ignore it at this point. Disgusting. RFK slammed for saying autistic kids will never have a job or fall in love. RFK Jr. said that children with autism will never be able to do many things such as go on a date or hold a job, despite many people with the disability already doing those things and more. As if I couldn't despise RFK Jr. even more, he's now had to basically go for my partner. I know he hasn't done this directly, but Leo is autistic, and I love Leo with all my heart. He is the fucking love of my life, and he is way more successful than me. Like, he works in one of the biggest aquariums in the country, looking after sharks and jellyfish and turtles and fucking rays and all kinds of awesome things. He's also the love of my life. We've been on many dates and we've been dating for years. So fuck you, RFK Jr. Quite frankly, go fuck yourself. And the final post. Mr. Trump, why are you destroying the American seniors' retirement accounts? This is not what we voted for. Recall the tariffs. You cost me over $3,200 in my retirement accounts Friday, and I voted for you 3 times. You're killing us. Oh, wow. That boomers getting a taste one time of the thing that they've been putting younger generations through their entire lives, and they can't handle it. Why don't you put yourself up by your fucking bootstraps? And also just the gall to vote someone in, and he does exactly what he said he would, and they're like, why are you doing this, Trump? This isn't what we voted for. He literally said he was gonna do this. He laid all of this out in front of you multiple times. This was his plan. He said this so many times. If you didn't know he was gonna do this, you're a fucking moron who doesn't research your politics before you vote. You're the issue here. You're part of the problem. One thing happens to you that's bad, and suddenly the world is over and the president, no! We've been going through this our whole fucking lives, okay? Because you guys took a shit on the economy and then refused to wipe. Suck it up. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Maybe work a bit. Maybe work to get where you are. Yeah, have you considered working and trying harder? Yeah, it sucks when people say that to you, doesn't it? It fucking sucks. It sucks to have your economy rug pulled underneath you, doesn't it? That really sucks, doesn't it? So get to the back of the queue. You can put in a complaint when you get to the front of the queue. And that's where I'm going to end the video, everybody. The cat's going insane in the background. Here she is. You silly. Thank you for watching, everybody. It really means a lot. I apologize for getting as riled up as I did. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below. Or you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. Helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. If you do support me though, know that probably starting next week, hopefully, I will be doing 1 video a week that is only accessible to patrons and YouTube members for the low price of £1 a month. You get 4 videos every month extra. So please do consider that if you would like to see that. A huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful, amazing YouTube members and patrons that do support me though. All of you are incredible and it genuinely helps so much. So thank you to everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.